T-Rexes, Spinosauruses, Jack and Adam's mom. These are all monstrous creatures of ancient times. They roamed the lands so long ago that today we don't actually know too much about them. And over the last couple of decades, there's been a lot of hoopla, a lot of fake facts that scientists have been spewing. And so today, we're checking out 13 dinosaur myths that you still believe.
Nice arms, you loser. I may have spoken too soon. Turns out, almost everything you think you know about dinosaurs is wrong.
Okay.
Everybody loved to joke about how T-Rex had weak, puny arms. But what we found is that these things were ridiculously ripped. Sure, they were only 3 feet long, roughly the size of your arm, but they were still packed with enough muscle to curl over 400 pounds.
Okay, but what would be the use of that, even if they were very strong, because the T-Rex's jaw muscles and 6-inch canines would do way more damage than these little teeny tiny arms here. I feel like we all kind of knew this already.
So obviously, these Samsolic looking arms weren't useless. But that's just one of the many dinosaur lies you probably still believe. And in this video, I'm gonna go over 13 of the biggest. And this next one is one you've probably fallen for.
It's Jar Jar! It's Jar Jar Binks! That's a parasaur. Look, I've been playing a little bit of Ark recently, and that is my beloved parasaur, Jar Jar Binks. Me and him are like this.
You ever go on TikTok and see something about how Spinosaurus sounded like this? So that's not how they sounded at all, actually. Because that's just a loon call slowed down. In fact, every single dinosaur noise you hear is total BS. Truth is, we have no idea what most dinosaurs sounded like. Except one, Parasaurolophus.
I actually did know about this though, because all we really know about dinosaurs is what was fossilized, which is mostly their bones. And vocal cords don't fossilize very well at all. So scientists don't really have any access to vocal cords of dinosaurs, making it impossible to know what they really sounded like. However, I do want to believe that they sound the way that they do in Jurassic Park because they sound really cool.
You see that giant crest sticking out of its skull? Well, it was filled with tubes and airways. So scientists 3D modeled it, pushed air through it, and it sounded like this.
Whoa!
Oh, yeah, we're 99% sure this dinosaur sounded like an air horn.
Why is he making it sound like that's not cool? That is so cool. Are you kidding me? Like, there's no animal today that sounds like that, unless it's like a whale or something. But no land animal that sounds like that. Let me think. Maybe like a buffalo? Bro, that is so cool.
Pretty cool nonetheless.
Yeah, okay, there we go. All right, now we're on the same page.
Again, that's not the only lie you've been told by media.
Don't move. You can't see us if we don't move.
No, this one has to be true. This one has to be true. If this one's wrong, my entire life is a lie. That's no. Everyone knows that T-Rexes can't see if you don't move. That's just like every 2-year-old knows that. It's like human instinct to know that fact. Don't tell me that's not true. Don't tell me that's not true.
It's just totally wrong too.
Okay, everyone relax. Everyone calm down. What? Are you gonna tell me that Santa's not real next? Is that what you're about to tell me? If that's what he's about to tell me, I'm gonna freak out.
T-Rex had the biggest eyes of any land predator. And I know size isn't everything, at least that's what I tell myself. Though for T-Rex, it did actually make a difference. Its vision was estimated to be up to 13 times sharper than yours. With forward-facing eyes and incredible depth perception, if you were in front of it, even from miles away, it was going to see you.
Now, I will say, this actually is believable because apparently dinosaurs and birds are like this. Like their DNA is very similar, meaning like dinosaurs may have been a form of birds. And birds have fantastic vision. Actually, like the best vision of any species in the planet, because they're way up in the sky, yet they can see a little rat running in the fields. So if they're related to birds, it does make sense that they would also have really good vision. It's kind of like how I'm second cousins of Chris Bumstead. It makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
But the real question is, what would you see if you were looking back? Because when most people picture a dinosaur, they think of something scaly like a crocodile. Except crocodiles aren't even that closely related. Their actual closest relatives are birds.
Editor, put a mic in my hand right now. Put a mic in my hand. That's a mic drop moment. If you put something else in my hand, that's not cool. That's not cool.
Because dinosaurs never really went extinct. Only the ones that couldn't fly did. So get that myth out of here. In weird fact, but that does technically mean that birds are reptiles. So then, if all birds are dinosaurs, Does that mean all dinosaurs look like birds? No. Birds evolved from theropods, but that's just one of 3 branches on the dinosaur family tree. Which means while some dinosaurs definitely look like birds, which we could see preserved in fossils and even trapped in amber, we also know others look totally different. Sauropods probably didn't have feathers. T-Rex had scales over most, if not all of its body, but it gets even weirder. Some species, like ceratopsians, had quill-like structures on their tails. So the whole feathers versus scales debate, just throw it out the window. But you know what wouldn't fit through a window? A dinosaur. Because they're all massive, right? Not exactly.
Ooh, one fun fact that I know is raptors are actually really tiny. I think in the Jurassic Park universe, they made the raptors way bigger than they actually are. I think that's a thing. I think that's a thing, guys. If that's what he's about to say, oh my god. I think that me and Jay just became best friends.
The smallest dinosaur we've ever found is a bee hummingbird, which is like 2 inches long. Though, if we're talking non-avian, you got stuff like Microraptor, about the size of a crow, and
Michael Jordan or me? Michael Jordan or me? I don't know, but I'm coming for that GOAT throne. I told you guys I'm a dinosaur master, bro. I literally know every single thing about dinosaurs. It's crazy.
barely a couple pounds. We got really lucky with Microraptor too. It lived in the perfect environment to fossilize.
How do they know it's not a baby? What if that's just a baby raptor? Like, they're calling it a microraptor, but like, how could that just be a baby of a raptor and then it's not a microraptor, it's a baby raptor? You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe it's not a different species. It's just a baby.
And some are so well preserved, we even know its feathers were black, and if the
Whoa.
light hit it just right, they'd shimmer blue and green.
Whoa.
And this thing lived over 100 million years ago. But here's the thing.
That is cool.
Most dinosaurs didn't live in conditions like that. Now, say you've got some pinky-sized bone from some tiny dinosaur, and an 8-foot femur from an Argentinosaurus. Which one's more likely to survive 70 million years underground? Exactly. That's preservation bias. Big bones fossilize better, so we find them more.
What is that? That's like an 8-foot bone. Oh my god. That is like Shaquille O'Neal as a bone, but it's one bone. Also, how is there just one bone there? Like, where's the rest of the bones? That's one thing I never really understood from archaeology. Like, let's just suppose that's his femur. Where's the rest of him? Maybe they dug them all out. I do see some holes at the top there and on the right. So maybe they dug out all the bones and this is the last one. But like, if you find one bone, surely you find all the rest of the bones, right? Why would there just be a random femur right there? There is a theory out there that all dino bones are fake. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I'm just saying, I've heard that dino bones are fake and they are being used for money to make museums and to make stories about them, and they're not actually real. I don't believe that though. Just saying. I do believe in dinosaurs.
But that also means we're probably underestimating how many small dinosaurs there really were. And considering we've probably found less than 1% of all dinosaur species, who knows what else is still out there.
That's actually a really great point that for whatever reason, I never thought of until this instant right now. If you think about it, we still have only explored like 4 or 5% of our oceans. And the ocean is much easier to go up and down and look into and all that than digging into the Earth's surface. So obviously I know there's way more ocean than land, but it's also like 1 trillion times harder to excavate the land than it is to excavate water. So that's a fantastic point in that there's still probably like 1 million different species that we have never even discovered yet, which means that even though we think that the Tyrannosaurus Rex may have been like the alpha dog back in the day, there's a good likelihood that that's not even true and that there were other species out there that were way stronger than T-Rexes.
Even so, dinosaur fossils are a lot less rare than most people think, as long as you're in the right place. This is the Hell Creek Formation, and if you know what you're looking for, you can literally walk for a few minutes and find a fossil.
Whoa.
How complete they are, that's a different story. When your average dinosaur dies, it probably gets scavenged, so finding one that didn't get eaten, but also got perfectly buried, and then stayed intact while the Earth shifted for millions of years, that's the miracle part.
Okay, when I asked the question about why some archaeologists only find like 1 bone at a time, there we go. That answers my question. That actually, yeah, that answered my question very well because dinos eat dinos. Pretty simple. Pretty simple concept. Can't believe I didn't think of that. I feel like an idiot now. I feel shame. I feel stupid. I feel embarrassed.
Something you might not realize is even with the dinosaur fossils we do have, they're embarrassingly incomplete. I mean, for God's sake, I made an entire video about the life of Quetzalcoatlus, and all we have is a single arm bone.
That surely is not true. That the only evidence they have of that thing existing at all is one arm bone, yet they were able to make up the entire rest of the bird or dino, whatever you want to call it. That's crazy. That's crazy.
If you were listening closely there, I just made the cardinal sin of paleontology, thinking every prehistoric animal was a dinosaur. However, a lot of those animals weren't dinosaurs at all. Let's start with the ocean. Ichthyosaurs, plesiosaurs, mosasaurs. Not dinosaurs. They're part of their own weird aquatic branches on the reptilian family tree. Same with the ones in the sky. You've probably heard of the word pterodactyl, but that's actually not the right name. That's just one species of a much bigger group called pterosaurs, and they were flying reptiles, not dinosaurs. Speaking of animals that aren't dinosaurs, let's talk mammals. You always hear that mammals back then were small, helpless, and lived in holes in the ground.
Okay, here's the thing about referring to those types of animals as dinosaurs, though. I think we all kind of like knew that. Like, we knew that pterodactyls are maybe not technically a dinosaur, or we knew that the dinosaurs that lived in the water weren't technically dinosaurs. Like, we all kind of know that. But when you refer to something as a dinosaur, it's more than just the species of a dinosaur. It's referring to like the time period.
But some of them actually ate the dinosaurs. This is Rapanomamus, a badger-sized mammal that we know for a fact had a taste for dino meat.
How could you
because
possibly
one fossil
know
was
that?
found with a baby Psittacosaurus in its stomach. And this
Okay, that
wasn't
answers
just
my
a
question.
one-time thing. In another fossil, it straight up mid-attack latched onto another Psittacosaurus's ribcage. So, some mammals were already out here devouring dinosaurs long before we turned them into nuggets.
Who named a dinosaur Psittaco, by the way? Psittacosaurus. Did Taco Bell find this thing? Psittacosaurus. Great branding, honestly. You know, pretty good idea. If I were to ever find a unique dinosaur and I got to name it, I would name it the Pterosaurus. It's pretty fun to say. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do it. Or the Pterosaurus will come get you. And you don't want it to come get you.
But that doesn't mean dinosaurs were somehow losing. There's this idea that mammals took over because dinosaurs were slow or outdated. That couldn't be more wrong. Dinosaurs were some of the most well-adapted animals to ever live, roaming the earth for over 165 million years, nearly 3 times longer than mammals have. In fact, they were around so long that we live closer to T-Rex than T-Rex did to Stegosaurus. So, no.
That's crazy.
Most of your favorite animals, sadly, wouldn't have met, unless they tripped over each other's fossils. And yes, dinosaurs were actually more advanced in a lot of ways, especially their breathing. While mammals breathe in and out through the same lungs, dinosaurs and modern birds have a totally different setup. They have air sacs spread throughout their bodies, which keeps fresh oxygen flowing through their lungs even while exhaling. In fact, dinosaurs' over-specialization may have been part of what led to their downfall, while our smaller, more adaptable generalist ancestors were able to cling on. And yet, despite all their advantages, their entire existence supposedly ended in a single afternoon. An asteroid hits Earth, and boom, dinosaurs gone. Well, we already know that's at least a little wrong, because, and even for the non-avian ones, they didn't vanish overnight. It might have taken decades, maybe even thousands of years for the last of them to die out. Look at the mammoths of Wrangel Island. Most mammoths went extinct around 10 to 14,000 years ago, but a small group survived in isolation until just 4,000 years ago. Around the same time, the pyramids were being built.
Whoa.
This same thing could have happened with a few dinosaur species.
That's true, because like the asteroid, okay, right, here's Earth right there. The asteroid comes in, boom, hits this side of Earth, right? And I get like it makes debris and clouds and all that all the way over to the other side of Earth over here, but it can't be that much. Like, how much debris gets all the way to this side, you know? So I feel like the dinos that were on the complete opposite side of the asteroid, they could have survived, you know, a little longer than a couple years. Right?
Holding on in small pockets before eventually disappearing from genetic collapse, bad luck, or another disaster. But what's even stranger is that despite how it sounds, this wasn't even the worst extinction Earth's ever gone through. Not by a long shot. There was one even earlier that made the asteroid look tame.
Really?
And it nearly wiped out everything. And if you want to learn about that, go watch this video.
Holy cow, I want to watch that video really bad. But to be honest, even a dino expert such as myself did learn a couple of things today. And if you did as well, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and click on this video right here for more.